What's up, you guys? This is Felicia, your Ballin' and Bipolar Success Coach here for another podcast episode for you. I hope you guys are doing well out there. You guys can follow me anywhere you want to on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, I have to tell you, if you're new to my ecosystem, I have a book, it's Be Happy or Get the F Out on Amazon if you want to check that out. I think it's a pretty awesome book. I have been told as well, so go check that out. Hope you guys are doing well out there today. So what I want to talk about is some bipolar stuff. A lot of the time I talk about analogies for bipolar and all this good stuff. This is going to be about bipolar specifically. I was listening to a book, and this is going to be, a shorter podcast, but I wanted to come in here for a quick word on this because, of course, I have an opinion about it. There was this book I was reading, and they were talking about kind of rapid cycling and how to understand if this is bipolar or if this is your personality. So it's difficult because I'm sure you can imagine if you're bipolar, you're like, is this just me or is this a side effect? Like, is this bipolar? Because a lot of the time, I was watching one time, there was a guy that did a TikTok video and he was like, yeah, I thought my whole personality was this, but really it was just my anxiety talking. And I'm like, yeah, that's something we need to know. We need to know, like, am I nervous right now, or is this anxiety? Am I really excited right now, or is this hypomania coming in? Am I depressed right now? Am I angry for a real reason, or am I being aggressive because of mania? Like, these are this is stuff that I call like fine tuning our disorder and knowing what is what and what is when, right? So I'll give you an example. When I was kind of first coming out of all this, my mom used to really irritate me because if I got mad about something, she'd be like, did you take your medicine today? And I'd be like, yeah, I took my medicine, blah, blah, blah. Because I would be really aggressive and really just would get pissed real quick about something stupid, And that is what bipolar can do too, is it can affect our aggression, our stress levels. It can affect us. The thing that I think bipolar does is it heightens the emotion that we could be having, but in a bipolar way. Okay. Now, this is not from a doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is what I just find to be true in my own life, because ultimately the thought of being famous was a real thought that I had, but mania amplified it and made it delusional. I think if something truly irritates us, a normal, healthy, mentally healthy person can flush that out and deal with that irritation in a healthy manner. But if we are manic, we can get aggressive really quickly and we can, spout off about anything. And that irritation and that aggressive behavior is it's not managed the right way, and I want to talk to and help you understand that that's why stability is so important. Because if you're stable and if you're doing daily check-ins on your moods, you will be able to tell that morning if you feel more anxious than usual, if you're getting irritable more often, because in your daily life, we shouldn't be irritable. We shouldn't just be pissed all the time, or one thing somebody does shouldn't just piss us off and affect our whole life. And that can be because we need to take a step back. So understanding when to really take a step back and look outside of yourself and say, okay, how can I do better about this situation? Is this me and what I need to deal with? Or do I need to cut somebody off? Is somebody affecting me when they shouldn't be affecting me in this way? Okay, so that's how you have to be able to understand, okay, how can I level out? How can I get my moods back on track? And how can I deal with this situation in a better way? And what he was talking about was rapid cycling. And rapid cycling does not happen for me anymore. It used to, though. I mean, I would be really, really high and really, really low. And that is what bipolar can do if you are not stable in your everyday life. And rapid cycling can hit you. It can hit you. I used to bounce around and be in the car and I could drop at the hat, in a minute. I could just be monotone and sad and start crying. And like, that's what rapid cycling can do. Kind of that mania, depression really quickly. And so I think it's so, so important for us to know what that is and knowing, is this bipolar? Is this mania? Is this depression? Is it anxiety? And how can I level out my moods in a way that I can deal with my life in a healthy fashion? Because God knows that we can get angry about normal things, about normal instances that happen in our everyday life. Just because you're mad about something doesn't mean you're totally manic and out of control. But we need to manage that anger. We need to put up boundaries, and we need to come in clear and conscious of what is going on in our outside world. So that goes along with how to manage our everyday life with bipolar effectively. So if you know that you're taking medication, and if you are very irritable all of a sudden, maybe we need to go back. We need to make an appointment with our psychiatrist. Maybe if you're not on medication and you feel irritable and you're going through rapid cycling, maybe it's time to talk about holistic approaches or medications that you can get on to kind of level that out a little bit. But the whole end all be all is not just medication. I did another podcast about that, and I don't want to go into that here. But it's, what can we do outside of ourselves to have that kind of calm down? And what I find really helpful is doing those daily check-ins. I know that when I work out in the morning, I do my meditations. And what meditations and silence does for me every day is helps me be in tune with my mood right up front during the day. Because if you're anxious and you can't meditate, let's take a step back. Why are we feeling anxious? Is there anything going on in our outside perspective that can be causing that? Okay. So when you do this morning meditation, or whenever that fits in for your schedule, that silence and that meditation of, I am okay, I am calm, and saying kind of these mantras: I am mentally healthy, I am mentally healthy, I am physically healthy, I am physically healthy. And then knowing what I'm going to do to stay mentally healthy that day. I'm going to drink a smoothie that's going to give me good energy, and I'm going to take my meds today. Those are my number twos. Like, those are my ones and twos. I do my mantras. I know what I'm going to do to stay mentally healthy that day. And I know what I'm going to do if I get irritable, or if I have some maybe hypomania that comes in. So again, it all comes back to, what is the solution, and identifying what it is up front. Is this a real feeling that I'm having? Okay. Did something happen that actually did piss me off, but am I reacting in a way that's not healthy? And how can we get around that? And so I see a lot of these questions on these bipolar support groups and stuff. And it's like asking other people, like, how do we not do this when we're manic? And how do we get out of a manic episode? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, we want to make sure that we know and we talk to other people, but it's, what works for you? You know what I mean? What works for me might not work for you, but try it. And I'm going to try to shorten the path for you and tell you, this is what worked for me. And I will tell you, I have been drinking smoothies for the last 2 weeks consistently. Okay. And that's part of my health journey, because I know that my body is what is not up to par right now. And that's what I want to focus on right now in my life. But I will tell you that starting my day with a smoothie doesn't only help my body. It doesn't only help me not feel bloated and not overeat late at night and all this kind of stuff. My energy, it's crazy, you guys. My energy is so good, but it could be so good that I get a little manic because I get really excited about my life and I feel really good and da 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 da. But guess what the morning routine does? It grounds me in that gratitude. It grounds me for the day. So I have the healthy energy, but I don't fly too high, right? Because I don't want a rapid cycle. I don't want to fly too high and then energy depletes and then depression comes in. I don't want that. So I always make sure I take my medicine. And I always make sure that I'm doing these things consistently together so that everything is cohesive. We don't want to just take medicine. We don't want to just do smoothies. We don't want to just meditate. It's putting all of these pieces together so that we can live a stable life. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted you to really make sure and take note of is identifying if we are rapid cycling, if we have these really irritable moments. And if that's natural, if you're really mad about something that happened, maybe your manager said something shitty to you, maybe your family member did, maybe something happened, but how are we dealing with life? If we're dealing with life from a bipolar standpoint, and bipolar is not helpful, we need to take a step back and take care of the bipolar stuff first. And that's where success comes. So when I coach people and when I talk to people, it's really, yes, how is everyday life going? Absolutely. What external factors do we have? Absolutely. But if we're not stable first, nothing else can come after. You can't reach true success in your life and add all of these extra components in unless we identify what the problem is in the first place. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you, a quick podcast for you today. I hope you're doing well out there. Have a ballin' and bipolar day. And remember, if you're not balling yet, you can be, you will be. And that's my timer going off. You guys have a ballin' and bipolar day. Keep trudging forward.